Hi, welcome to Pro-Am Podcast number 1.
Episode 1, baby.
Episode 1. My name is Jeff Sorowick. I'm the owner and president of Pro Ambitions Hockey, and this is Henry Berger. Henry moved here from California last year, took the leap of faith to Boston, West Coast guy, and we're happy to have you. You've been a head guy for me for 9 or 10 years on the West Coast, playing your pro career. You retired and moved to Cape Cod where our corporate offices are.
Yep.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So we've Pro Ambitions, we've been doing this for I've been training kids since 1994 during my pro career, and we've been doing this 28 years now. So I was trying to figure out the math of all the kids that I've trained. It's got to be over 100,000 kids all over the world. And we come in touch with a lot of parents, and we hear of a lot of scenarios, and we talk about the key words of the growth spurt, the summer growth spurt, and mentoring and taking kids to the next level. And I'd like to talk about a confidence store. A confidence store is, I don't think kids get enough of that during a season because I think kids are capable of doing more than what they're doing. So I think at our camps, we're an unbiased set of eyes. And with our staff and all the training we do with our guys, we mentor kids and we try to get them feeling good about themselves.
Yeah, I think we're we're not a one-handed stick handling company, one of these fancy companies. We have the big sponsors: Gatorade, Boston Bruins, Dunkin' Donuts, Mr. Assist, Hockey East, Sparks. We have a different style brand. We believe in energy. We believe in one-on-one battles, 2-on-2 battles, hard work. Getting shots on net, deception. We just believe in the basics of hockey that I feel a lot of other companies are kind of timid to touch on.
Yeah, that's true. And the system works. The battle camps we've been doing, we've done it for over 20 years now with small area games, and the kids get a lot out of it. They work hard, they have fun, and they smile. So that's the key thing. We're doing this podcast now because we've gotten a lot of inquiries for us to get some of our information out there. I mean, I go around the country at all my camps, and I talk to 30 or 40 groups of parents at each location, but we're trying to get out to a wider audience because I think our message as a company is it's vital, especially mine. I think resonates with a lot of kids because I wasn't a first round draft pick. Nothing was easy for me, and I tell the story of in fact I was at a reunion the other night. And I saw a lot of old teammates from Mite, Squirt, Pee Wee, Bannermere, guys I haven't seen in 35 years. And it was great to rekindle relationships. But what I learned was that, a lot of them were like, how did you get to the next level? How did you get I grew up in Bedford, New Hampshire. How did you get out of Bedford? And I think, I had some good breaks, but I was able to get to a prep school and get out of a small town. And then I grew at the right time. I didn't grow until I was 18 years old. I was a pipsqueak.
Yep.
So a lot of things have to align. I was able to stay healthy, and I was a hard worker. My dad made me work construction, and I didn't go to a lot of hockey camps as a kid. We didn't have the money, and so I just had a great work ethic, and I got strong really from lifting concrete blocks for my dad and carrying lumber.
Yeah. So what about I have my first question on our first episode, who is Jeff Sorowick? So you said where you're from, tell me a little about your hockey path, where you started and, where college and pro and so on. I know there's a lot of crazy stories and some funny stuff, but I'm sure everyone would love to hear.
Yeah, thanks. So basically, so as I was saying before, I grew up in Bedford, New Hampshire, and I played youth hockey for the Manchester Flames. Youth organization, and then I just worked my way up, and then I went to prep school, and then I got to Providence College, and I played 10 years of pro hockey. And it took me, I played a little bit in Boston, a little bit in Toronto, and then it took me about 700 or 750 games to finally my 10th year to make the Penguins.
Yep.
And I stuck with it, and I finally made the team. I had some great breaks, and that'll be a whole nother episode, making that team and the experience with that. But I just think kids, and I want kids to know that there's hope for them. As a Mite, as a Squirt, I think a lot of parents panic. Like if your son doesn't make the team that he wants as a Pee Wee or a Bantam, your career is not over. Not everyone's going to be a first rounder. I was a fifth rounder, which I think with the amount of teams today, I'd be a second rounder. But I just, if you believe in yourself and you want to do something, you can make anything happen. And I played on the B team. I played on the A team. I didn't make the Olympic team. There was times at Providence that I wasn't on the power play, Providence College. I had so many ups and downs, so much adversity, even through my pro career, that you have to fight through. So my word is, we say as a company, the word next. Next is if it doesn't go well for you, then next. If you have a bad shift, next. And I also say move mountain. Move mountain is, I used to write it on my glove. If you want to go, if you have a bad shift and you're losing your confidence, I used to say to myself, move mountain. Move mountain is you can persevere. You can just move that damn mountain and move on. So I don't know, Henry, tell me a little bit about yourself.
So my path a little different, and it might relate to a lot of kids, but born and raised in California. Not a lot of hockey out there at the time. Played AAA, decided at 15 to move to Detroit, play for CompuWare, which is at that point was, number one AAA team. Still a great development, that whole, Chicago and Detroit area. So I went there after a year straight to the North American League, played juniors, had my issues, playing time, cut, traded, dealt with it all. Eventually found a school, NCAA Division III school in Wisconsin to play for. Did great there, loved it. Ended up getting a minor contract in the pros. Had a great experience, lived a life of a grind. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. It taught me a lot. And why I think this, podcast is so important is, as a kid from California, my parents are awesome, super educated, but in hockey, it's not huge. We don't know. We didn't know the steps. We didn't, have an agent. We didn't have the resources. We didn't know. We just had coaches telling us. And half the time, coaches tell us stuff, it's trying to benefit them, either, financially or, they have friends, they want to play, whatever it is. And that's why I think, this is so important in Pro Ambitions. It's finally time that we, give our audience the unbiased set of eyes. That's huge. Everyone has their own little plan they're trying to do. And, we're here for the benefit of the kids. We're here to help guide parents. I don't think a lot of companies do that. You might have family advisors or agencies that, just get you tryouts, but they don't really, listen to you. They don't care. I think we're here to help. I think we have passion, and I'm just super pumped to be here. I've done Pro Ambitions for 8 years, and I had another job that good life. I somewhat enjoyed it, but I just didn't find any fulfillment in it. And we skate with kids, every day here, and I really just find some passion. When I go to the rink, I don't feel like I'm going to work. So it's big on me, and that translates to the kids' success, and I love it. I love when they're looking at us asking, how can I get better? What do I need to do? I got cut from this team. What should I do? I love being that answer because I've been there, and you've been there. We've all been there. We've all dealt with adversity, and in this generation, there's going to be a lot of dealing with adversity, and some kids, might think, I should be here. I should be here. Parents are like, he needs to be here. It's all about taking the next step. Adapt or die, like is what we like to say. I'm just pumped to finally, be able to talk about it all and help kids figure out a game plan.
So a lot of this podcast also, so I wrote this book about 5 years ago. It's called 50 Ways to Reach Your Pro Ambitions. One of my buddies, my best friend, Greg Jackson, wrote a series of 50 ways to, have successes in life. So I kind of modeled it after that, and I've written a lot of articles in USA Hockey and in syndicated, publicated author stories. So I basically took a chapter of each, which we're going to cover in this podcast. A lot of kids have the book, a lot don't have it yet, but we're going to discuss in depth. I think there's a lot of things that parents can come out of our conversations. We're also welcoming in, you have any teammates, anybody that you think would benefit from our teachings or our discussions. We're here to help. We're here to pass on info. And as always, if anybody ever has any questions,